Good morning, girls.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, so we'll start the class with a prayer. Angelin,
Ma'am?
yeah, you can do the prayer.
Okay, ma'am. ஏசப்பா சோஸ்திரம் ஏசப்பா இந்த காலை வேளை எங்களை காண செய்த கிருபைகளுக்காக நன்றி ஏசப்பா. இன்றைய தினத்துல கூட ஏசப்பா எங்கள் அனைவரையும் ஒன்று கூடி கிளாஸ்ல சேர்த்த கிருபைகளுக்காக நன்றி ஏசப்பா. இந்த கிளாஸ் ஆசீர்வதிங்க ஏசப்பா. உம்முடைய கிருபை காலைதோறும் புதிதா இருப்பதற்காக நன்றி ஏசப்பா. உம்முடைய கிருபை எங்களை வழி நடத்த போற கிருபைகளுக்காக நன்றி ஏசப்பா. இன்னைக்கு கிளாஸ் ஆசீர்வதிங்க ஏசப்பா. எங்க புதுசா எல்லாத்தையும் கத்துக்கொள்ள எங்களுக்கு வழி நடத்துங்க ஏசப்பா. கிருபை செய்யுங்க ஏசப்பா. துதிக்கான மகிமை அனைத்தும் மிக செலுத்துகிறோம். ஏசு கிறிஸ்துவின் மூலம் ஜெபம் கேளும் நல்ல பிதாவே, ஆமென்.
Answer for your attendance, girls. Abhirami is here. Anjana Devi,
Yes, ma'am.
Anusha,
Present, ma'am.
Haripriya,
Present, ma'am.
Janani, Janani is not here. Jerolyn,
Present, ma'am.
Jyotika,
Present, ma'am.
Lakshana,
Present, ma'am.
Nifasit,
Yes, ma'am.
Pooja Kumari,
Present, ma'am.
Bungotai,
Yes, ma'am.
Priyadashni,
Present, ma'am.
Roslyn,
Present, ma'am.
Shanmati,
Present, ma'am.
Sneha,
Present, ma'am.
Priyadashna,
Present, ma'am.
Sri Balamani Megalai,
Present, ma'am.
Sweta,
Present, ma'am.
Divya,
Present, ma'am.
Harsha,
Present, ma'am.
Ainsley,
Present, ma'am.
Nailila.
Present, ma'am.
Nailila? Okay. Janani is absent. Okay, girls. So today we are going to look into QSAR, that is Quantitative Structure Activity Relationship. Is the slide visible, girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so we are going to look into quantitative structure activity relationship, which is abbreviated as QSAR. Okay, so what do I mean by this quantitative structure activity relationship? So any compound that I take, we say that the structure of the compound is responsible for its property. Okay, maybe it's physical property or chemical property or biological property. So we assume that the structure of any compound is responsible for its properties. So in that case, it is very important to evaluate how far the structure and activity are related when it comes in drug chemistry, because we cannot just like that give any compound as a drug. So you have to evaluate, you have to quantitate, you have to perform qualitative and quantitative analysis to show that the structure, because of the structure you have this activity, which is very important in drug chemistry, as where you see the drugs are getting interacted with different targets. So what is QSAR? It is a mathematical relationship between the biological activity of a molecular system and its geometric and chemical characteristics. So this geometric and chemical characteristics shows the structure of the compound, and you are relating the structure of the compound to its biological activity, which is explained in terms of a mathematical relationship. Okay, and that is your quantitative structure activity relationship. So why is QSAR very important? So if you want to design any drug, okay, for any particular target or a disease, yes, so it's very important for you to know the structure of the compound And when you know the structure of the compound, it is very important to evaluate its biological activity. Okay, and this can be vice versa. So initially, for developing drugs, people were isolating compounds from natural products, and then they were analyzing it, okay, were quantitatively studying their relationship. But now what is possible is the reverse, okay. So you can quantitatively first study the relationship using the advancements in computer science, in informational technology, okay. So you can model compounds, drugs, targets in computers, and you can study their interactions, okay. You can quantitatively, you can examine how the structure is responsible for the biological activity, and then you can go for uh, uh, isolating compounds or for synthesizing any drugs. So why QSAR? It attempts to identify quantitative physicochemical properties of a drug in relation to its biological activity or binding. Okay, so QSAR helps you in identifying the exact molecule that should get interacted with your targets, and it quantitatively determines the physicochemical properties of a so-called drug which is relating to its biological activity. Okay, so I told it is a mathematical expression. So what does that mathematical expression contains? So actually, people have studied the hydrophobic interactions, the electronic interactions, and the steric interactions that are possessed by so-called drugs. Okay, and how these interaction helps in drug binding or make the molecule biologically active compound. Okay, that is what is studied using QSAR. So this is very important for medicinal chemists, okay, who lands up in an equation that quantifies a relationship and allows anyone to predict the biological activity of a compound to some extent. So this was given by Hans, okay, in 1969. He developed the equation relating the biological activity to the electronic characteristics of the compound and the hydrophobicity for a set of structures. Okay, so this equation that you see here, log 1 by C is equal to K1 log P, K2 log P square, and K3 sigma plus K4, so on. This is the mathematical expression that relates biological activity and your hydrophobicity, electronic factors, and the steric factors. Okay, so here this 1 by C, log 1 by C is the biological activity, where C is the minimum concentration of the dose of the drug given. Okay, C is the concentration, that is how minimum I have to give you the biologically active compound to perform its biological activity. Okay, so that is C, and this log 1 by C is as a whole considered to be the biological activity of any compound, and that is related to the hydrophobicity. So hydrophobicity, we talk in terms of partition coefficient. Why partition coefficient? Because you have to know how the drug dissolves in aqueous medium and in a hydrophobic medium, because it is essential for any drug to pass on inside your body first through aqueous medium, and then it has to go to the organelles, which is hydrophobic in nature. Okay, so how best is the drug? Okay, so hydrophobicity is very important for any compound to get inside your body and to perform its biological activity. Okay, so that is considered as the partition coefficient. Okay, so partition coefficient with respect to octanol and water. So water is your aqueous medium, and octanol is considered to be a long chain alcohol which is hydrophobic in nature. So how best the drug dissolves in octanol and water? Okay, so that partition coefficient determines the biological activity, that is the hydrophobicity of the drug. Okay, so in general, the hydrophobicity of a drug should not be very negative, or it should not be very positive. Okay, if it is going to be very positive, then it is too hydrophobic that it will not get dissolved in your body. Whereas if it is going to be too negative, then it means that it is dissolved in aqueous medium and it does not get passed into the hydrophobic organelles. So in that case, in both the cases, the drug will not do its desired activity. Okay, so you should have an optimum hydrophobicity of any drug. So this P value gives you how best the drug can get into your body. And this sigma is the Hammett substituent constant, which is for the electronic parameters. So electronic parameters, you know that you have this inductive effect, you have a resonance effect, okay? All these play important role in determining the biological activity of a compound, okay? And these K1, K2, K3 are constants of different parameters. And then you also have steric parameters. So when you're going to have bulky groups as substituents, what will happen to the nature of the drug? How the biological activity is affected due to the steric bulk of any groups in the drug-like molecule. Okay, so you are relating biological activity to the hydrophobicity of the drug, to the electronic factors of the molecule, and the steric effects of the molecule. Is it clear, guys?
Yes,
Guys?
ma'am.
Okay. So the physical chemical properties that are studied using QSAR are the hydrophobicity of the molecule, hydrophobicity of the substituents. So if I take a molecule, you may have simple molecule, you may have molecule containing lots of substituents. So it is very important to find out the individual hydrophobicity of each substituents, how much they contribute for the whole molecule. And then electronic properties of the substance, and finally steric properties of the substance. So these three are the most important parameters or properties that are studied for a drug, and it is related to its biological activity. Coming to the hydrophobicity of a molecule, so activity of a drug is often related to P. That is, the biological activity of a drug can be related to the hydrophobicity of the drug. For example, let me take a binding of drugs to serum albumin. Okay, this is one case study. So here you can observe a straight line. Okay, so this log 1 by C. So here they have plotted the biological activity to the hydrophobicity of the molecule. Okay, so drug that is binding to serum albumin. In that case, they have observed a straight line for a limited range of log P value. Okay, so this QSAR equation they have observed is log 1 by C is equal to 0.75 log P plus 2.3. Okay, so in this case, what they have found is, so you see that here it is increasing log P value, and here it is increasing biological activity. So for a range of log P value, they have found out the binding of drug to serum albumin, and they have found that it is a straight line and it is increasing. Okay, so which shows that binding increases. That is, the drug is going to bind with serum albumin as you are going to increase the hydrophobicity of the drug. And binding is greater for hydrophobic drugs. So in this case, okay, so drugs binding to serum albumin, they are considered to be hydrophobic. So only when they are going to be hydrophobic in nature, the biological activity is going to increase. So if it is going to be less hydrophobic in nature, then it possesses only low biological activity. So that is what they found for drugs binding to serum albumin. So they have observed a straight line with increasing biological activity when you increase the log P value. So for this case, hydrophobic drugs are important for binding to serum albumin. But it is not the case for all the types of drugs. So in case of anesthetics, okay, generally ethers, they have observed a parabolic curve. Okay, it's not a straight line, but it's a parabolic curve. Okay, and so you see this is the increasing value of log P, and here it is increasing value of biological activity. So as you increase the log P, that is hydrophobicity of the compound, slowly the biological activity increases, it attains a maximum. And after that, if you're going to increase the log P value, that is the hydrophobicity of the molecule, what is happening? There is a decline in the biological activity. So which means that if you're going to keep on increasing the hydrophobicity, that will not work as a drug. Or you need an optimum condition. You need an optimum hydrophobicity for the molecule to possess biological activity. So if you're going to increase the hydrophobicity beyond that optimum value, then the biological activity is going to reduce. So this was the case studied for anesthetics. So you have an optimum log P value, that is hydrophobicity for anesthetic activity, which is considered as log P naught. Okay. So you have two cases. So you cannot say that hydrophobicity, so molecule na hydrophobic ஆக்கணும்னா எனக்கு drug like activity எதுக்குனாலும் எனக்கு கிடைக்கும் அப்படின்னு கிடையாது. So it all depends upon the target. It all depends upon the activity is going to perform with. Coming to the hydrophobicity of substituents, so the hydrophobicity constant of substituents is denoted as pi, okay, and the hydrophobicity of the whole molecule is denoted as capital P. So this is a measure of substituents hydrophobicity related to hydrogen. So because any general molecule, you'll have hydrogen. So hydrogens are substituted by different substituents. Okay. So there are set of values given for aliphatic as well as aromatic substituents. So by measuring experimentally and comparing the log P value with that of the log P value of the parent is done. Okay. Say for example, now I have benzene here. I have chlorosubstituted benzene here, and I have benzamide here. Okay, so the parent molecule is actually benzene. So the log P value, that is the hydrophobicity of the benzene, is found to be 2.13. Okay, and this is chlorobenzene, and its log P value is found to be 2.84. That is hydrophobicity of the whole molecule, including chlorine. Okay, so here one of the hydrogen in benzene is replaced by chlorine. Okay, so the log P, what has happened from benzene to chlorobenzene, the log P value has increased, which means that hydrophobicity has increased. So the increase in hydrophobicity is due to what?
Substituent.
What substituent you have?
Chlorine.
Chlorine. Okay, so chlorine increases the hydrophobicity, so that you have to remember. Okay, so the next compound I take is benzamide. Okay, so when I replace hydrogen by an amide group, okay, what has happened to the log P value? It has reduced drastically. So from 2.13 it is reduced to 0.64. Okay, which means that the hydrophobicity is decreased. Okay, so when you substitute an amide, okay, where instead of hydrogen, it decreases the hydrophobicity. So what is the individual value, okay, of your substituent? Okay, what is the hydrophobicity that is produced by the substituent? So when you subtract the values from that of the standard, so here benzene is the standard. So when you're going to substitute, subtract the log P value of chlorobenzene with log P value of benzene, you'll get the substituent hydrophobicity for that particular compound. Okay, so here in case of chlorobenzene, the substituent hydrophobicity, that is the hydrophobicity produced by chloride, is given by subtracting the hydrophobicity of chlorobenzene, subtracting it with the hydrophobicity of benzene. So 2.84 minus 2.16, you'll get 0.71. So this value is the hydrophobicity of chlorine. Okay, whereas for the same, if you do for benzamide, so subtract benzamide with benzene, you'll get minus 1.49. So this is the hydrophobicity of amide group. Okay, so positive values of the substituents implies that they are more hydrophobic than hydrogen. So in standard you have hydrogen. Okay, so positive pi values shows that these substituents are producing more hydrophobicity than hydrogen, and negative value shows that they are less hydrophobic than hydrogen. Is that clear, girls? So you may be given with any compound and you will be asked to predict the hydrophobicity. So maybe we'll be giving you the log P value of the whole molecule, or we'll be giving you the substituent value and ask you to calculate the log P value for the whole molecule. Okay, anything we'll be giving you. Is this clear, girls? Girls?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what I told you. So you can calculate the log P value using the pi values. So for example, I have metachlorobenzamide. Okay, so now I know the value of the substituent chlorine, hydrophobicity value of chlorine. I know the hydrophobicity of amide group, and I know the log P value of benzene. So I can calculate the hydrophobicity, that is the log P value for the whole molecule, metachlorobenzamide. Okay, so theoretically, when you are calculating, so you will calculate the log P value of benzene and then the substituents. So you compute the values of these three. So you'll get so here they get 1.35, and the observed value is close. Okay, it's 1.51. Okay, so this is how you can calculate the log P value for new molecule if substituents values are provided. Okay, so the QSAR equation may include the log P value of the whole compound, and it may also include the log P value of the substituents. Okay, so P measures the importance of the molecule's overall hydrophobicity. Okay, so capital P is nothing but the overall hydrophobicity of the whole molecule. Okay, and this is very important for a molecule because you relate it to its absorption and its binding. So as I told you, it should not be too hydrophobic. Okay, so in which case it cannot be absorbed in aqueous medium, and it should not be too hydrophilic, then absorption is easy, whereas binding in hydrophobic centers will be difficult. Okay, and the small phi, it identifies specific regions of the molecule which might interact with hydrophobic regions in the binding site. So these substituents are very important, okay, because they produce a certain hydrophobicity. So that is important when they are going to bind with any target. Okay, so in targets you'll be having different kinds of interactions. So that is what we saw in last class. So you'll have electrostatic interactions, you may have what to say, weak interactions like van der Waals interactions, ion dipole interactions. You may also have covalent interactions and hydrophobic interactions. So these substituents can interact with the binding site where you have hydrophobicity, hydrophobic nature. Coming to the electronic effects, it is given by the Hammett substituent constant, which is denoted as sigma. I think this you would have already studied in your organic chemistry, isn't it? Hammett substituent constant, which is acidity constant. Yes? படிச்சிருக்கீங்களா இல்லையா போன செமஸ்டர்? Girls, are you there? Girls, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
அப்போ படிச்சிருக்கீங்களா இல்லையான்னு கேட்டா பதில் பேச மாட்டேங்கிறீங்க. Okay. So you have to note that this constant, okay, Hammett substituent constant, it is a measure of the electron withdrawing or electron donating influence of the substituents. Okay, so you may have substituents in the molecule, you have to identify its nature, whether it is electron withdrawing group or it is electron releasing group. Okay, and the values can be experimentally measured and tabulated. So for example, you can measure the Hammett substituent constant, that is the electronic effect for aromatic substituents. Okay, how? By comparing it with the dissociation constant of substituted benzoic acid with respect to benzoic acid. So in case of aromatic system, benzoic acid is taken as the standard. Okay, because only in acids you study this Hammett acidity function, isn't it? So benzoic acid is taken as a standard, and you do various substitution in benzoic acid and compare its dissociation with respect to benzoic acid. Okay, so you have benzoic acid and substituted benzoic acid. So what kind of substituents facilitate the removal of proton, and that is it facilitates the forward reaction, and which kind of substituents will not go for forward reaction. So that is given by the dissociation constant, which is equal to the dissociation constant of the substituted benzoic acids divided by the benzoic acid, standard benzoic acid. So here X may be H in case of benzoic acid, and it may be other substituents for substituted benzoic acid. So let us consider X is going to be nitro group. What will you tell about nitro group? Nitro group is an electron releasing group or withdrawing group?
Withdrawing group.
Okay, so X is a electron withdrawing group. So when you're going to substitute benzoic acid with an electron withdrawing group, okay, so what will happen through inductive effect? What will it do? It will try to pull the electron density towards itself, as well as through resonance it will try to pull the electron density towards itself. So what will happen? So when you're going to dissociate this benzoic acid into benzoate, substituted benzoate anion and H plus proton. Okay, so if when you're going to have an electron withdrawing group, what it will do? By withdrawing the electron density towards itself, it is stabilizing the charge. Okay, it is stabilizing the charge, which means this moiety becomes stable than this moiety, which shows that the equilibrium is shifted towards forward reaction. So in this case, the dissociation constant Kx, okay, will be greater than the standard Kh. So here sigma x, then the Hammett as substituent constant, okay, will be given as log Kx by Kh. So, or you can write it as log K minus log Kh. Okay, so if you have the values, you can substitute here, and so you can get the value of sigma. So sigma will be positive value when it is electron withdrawing group. Okay, so when you have electron withdrawing group, sigma will carry a positive value. So what about an electron donating group? So for example, if I take a methyl group, okay, so if I consider the dissociation constant, methyl group enna pannum? So here X is electron releasing group, okay. Enna pannum? Methyl group enna pannum? What is the nature of methyl group? Girls? Girls, are you there?
It releases the electron.
Yes, ma'am.
Methyl is electron releasing group, isn't it? So by releasing electron, what it will
Compound
do,
will be destabilized. ma'am.
yes, so it will be destabilized. It will not stabilize this negative charge on oxygen. So what it will do, it will not go for this dissociation of substituted benzoic acid to the benzoate anion. Okay, so it will not facilitate the forward reaction. In that case, your Kx will be less than Kh. Okay, which means that your sigma value will be negative. Okay, because it is not facilitating the forward reaction. So this value will be small than your Kh value. So naturally you'll get a negative value for sigma when you have electron donating groups. So the sigma value depends upon the inductive effect and the resonance effect. and it also depends upon the substituent's position where it is present. If it is in case of aromatic systems, whether they are present in the meta position or para position. Auto substitution is not considered in electronic effects because they provide steric effects. Okay, so they are considered in steric factors. So let us consider an example. You have an electron withdrawing group substituted in para position and meta position. So you could see the values. In both cases, it is positive. Okay, because it is electron withdrawing group that is attached. But you see the values in para position, the electronic effect is higher than in meta position. So which means that in para position nitro group is present, it stabilizes the anion to a greater extent than meta position. So in case of meta substitution, nitro group plays only inductive effect as an electron withdrawing group, but in para, both inductive as well as resonance effect is dominant. Resonance effect is dominant, through which the charge is stabilized. So if I take a hydroxy group, okay, hydroxy group, it has both nature, isn't it? It is inductively, it is electron withdrawing because oxygen being electron withdrawing group, highly electronegative, but mesomerically or due to resonance, it is electron releasing group because it has a lone pair of electron on oxygen. Okay, so when hydroxy group is substituted in meta and para position, you see that in meta position it is positive. The sigma value is positive, which means it acts as electron withdrawing group when it is present in meta position. Whereas in para position, hydroxy group is acting as a electron releasing group. Okay, so you see the value is highly negative, where in para position it acts as a electron releasing group. So in meta position it plays inductive effect, whereas in para position it plays the resonance effect. Is that clear, girls? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, that we saw about aromatic electronic substituents. So even in aliphatic electronic substituents, you have to, they can be considered. So this is denoted for aliphatic systems, it is denoted as S. So in aliphatic systems, you cannot talk about resonance effect. So here it is only purely inductive effect. So here the rate of hydrolysis of aliphatic esters is measured, and that is so under basic and acidic conditions is considered. Okay, so aliphatic hydrolysis of aliphatic esters in basic and acidic conditions is considered. So here when X is going to be electron donating group, okay, the rate of the reaction, that is the hydrolysis of ester to alcohol and acid, is going to be decreasing. Okay, so in that case, your sigma value will be negative. That is, so if, that is your Kx is going to be less than your Kh. Okay, so which leads to your substituent value to be negative when electron donating groups are present. And when electron withdrawing groups are present, the rate is increased. That is, the dissociation is facilitated. Okay. So your Kx will be greater than your Kh, which results in positive value. So under basic conditions, the rate is affected by both steric and electronic factors. Okay, so a correction factor due to steric effect is also included in your Hans equation. Whereas in acidic conditions, the rate is affected only by steric factors. So in acidic conditions, you cannot talk about the electronic effects. Here, the steric effects is only a main factor, which is given as Es. Okay, so coming to the steric factors, it is called as the Taft steric factors, which is denoted as Es. It is measured by comparing the rate of hydrolysis of substituted aliphatic esters against a standard ester under acidic condition. Okay, and it is given by the equation Es is equal to log of substituted ester with respect to the standard ester. So this kind of study is limited to substituents which interact sterically with the tetrahedral transition state of the reaction. Because here in the, if you see the compound, it is a tetrahedral carbon. So you'll get a tetrahedral transition state, carbocation, and the substituents. So it is related to the substituents, steric of the substituents. So the steric of the substituents, whether it stabilizes the transition state or it destabilizes the transition state, is noted here. And this cannot be used for substituents which interact with the transition state by resonance or hydrogen bonding. So purely the transition state should be stabilized by the steric effect. It should not be resonance effect or hydrogen bonding. So compounds, substituents like those produce resonance effect and hydrogen bonding effect are not considered in Taft steric factor. Okay. And one more parameter which is important in steric factor is calculation of the molar refractivity, which is the measure of substituent's volume. I think this you would have done in your refractive index experiment, isn't it? You would have calculated the determined the molecular weight of your compound using that, isn't it? Molecular refractivity. So it is given by the formula n square minus 1 divided by n square minus 2 into molecular weight divided by density. Okay, it's divided by density. So this n square minus 1 by n square minus 2 is the correction factor which involves polarization, where n is the index of refraction or refractive index, and this molecular weight divided by density that defines the volume of your compound. So ultimately you have the Hans equation, which is the QSAR equation relating various physicochemical properties to the biological activity of a series of compounds. So it includes the hydrophobicity of the molecule, the electronic effects of the substituents, and the steric effects of the substituents. So we can start, so you can start with simple molecules where you can produce simple equations, and then you can extend that equation to more complicated structures also. Okay, so typically you will see a wide range of parabolic equation. Okay, this equation is for parabolic system. So this is one example, adrogenic blocking activity of beta halo beta array amines. Okay, so that QSAR equation is formulated to be the biological activity is equal to 1.2 pi 22 pi minus 1.59 sigma plus 7.8. This is the other parameter. So this is the electronic parameter and this is the hydrophobicity. So you see the hydrophobicity is positive and the electronic effect is negative. So what can you say about this? So if you have positive hydrophobicity, what do you mean? The substituents, okay? The substituents, they should be hydrophobic in nature. And you have got negative sigma value, which means one of the substituents should be electron releasing group. Okay, so which means that the activity increases if the pi value is positive. So the biological activity increases when your pi value is positive. That is, when you're going to have more hydrophobic interaction substituents, and your activity increases when you're going to have electron releasing groups or electron donating groups. This is another example, antimalarial activity of phenanthrene derivative. So here it's a complex equation that is formulated. So here they have concluded that the activity increases slightly as log P increases. Okay, because you see it's a slightly positive value. Okay, it's only 0.14. So the activity increases slightly as the log P value increases. And you'll get a parabolic equation here, because here you see the square term you get. So which means that your activity increases till 0.14, and after that what will happen? The activity will decrease. Okay, so you'll get a parabolic equation here, and then the activity increases for hydrophobic substituents. So if the ring So in this ring Y, if you're going to have hydrophobic substituents, then the activity increases. That is what is implied. And again, if you're going to have electron withdrawing group in ring Y, then the activity, biological activity increases. So they are all denoted from the values that you could see in the QSAR equation. Okay, so with that I'll stop because Craig's plot is someone's seminar topic. Okay, so is QSAR clear for you girls?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Others, Anjana, Angelin, Abhirami, Jerolyn, Balamani Mekalai.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am.
Okay, so that's about QSAR. So now I'm going to do one of the lab for you so that you will do it at home and submit the worksheets. Okay, so I'll share the screen. So we are going to calculate physicochemical properties of compounds, and we are going to predict its biological activity. Okay. Okay, is this Google platform visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so here in Google, you go and type mole inspiration. Okay, this mole inspiration is an online mode of calculating the molecular properties and biological activity of compounds. Okay, it's a cheminformatics software, as well as it provides data. It is linked with various databases so that the other features of the compounds can also be analyzed. Okay. So when you type mole inspiration, you'll get this www.moleinspiration.com. Okay, so click into it and you can go. So this is a home page of mole inspiration cheminformatics. Can you see this, girls? You can see the home page, girls?
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the home page of mole inspiration cheminformatics software. So all the details, what you will get in this mole inspiration software is given in this table. Okay, so in the home page la ungalku kuduthirukanga. Okay, so here you see more than 4,500 citations in scientific papers. So scientific papers la more than 4,500 citations உங்களுக்கு mole inspiration இருக்கு. அதாவது more than 4,500 scientific papers mole inspiration என்ன பண்ணிருக்காங்க, they have used it for calculating molecular properties. Okay, so அவ்வளோ reliable is this tool. Okay, so in this left side corner you could see about its description. So here you have tab with calculation of molecular properties and prediction of bioactivity. So I click there. You could see this page opening, guys. You could see this drawing tool page.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So in this drawing tool, you can draw the compound, structure of the compound, and in its right hand side, you could see calculate the properties, predict bioactivity. You can also generate the three-dimensional structure of the compound that you are drawing here. Okay. So let me clear the window. So this is the clear option. Okay, so you have the different bonds that can be added, the rings that can be given, and the atoms that can be inserted. Okay, so let me show you a simple example. Even you can give the Smiles notation of the compound and you can calculate its property. Okay, so Smiles notations படிச்சிருப்பீங்கன்னு நினைக்கிறேன் இல்லையா? So Smiles notation கொடுத்து நீங்க என்ன பண்ணலாம்? You can calculate the property of the compound. Okay. So I am going to simply draw a compound. Okay, I am going to draw a derivative of benzimidazole. So you have to click on the particular atom where you have to insert the atom. If you are going to insert the bond, okay, say I want a double bond, then you have to click on the bond where you have to have that double bond. Okay, so this is benzimidazole. Let me draw an derivative. Okay, Okay, I have amino benzimidazole. Okay, this is amino benzimidazole I have drawn, and now I'm going to calculate its properties. So can you see this, girls? So in this case, I have got this Miles notation of the compound. Okay, so I have drawn 5-aminobenzimidazoles. I have got the name of the compound. So here you could see the search engine. Okay, version of the search engine is given here, and some of the properties of the compound is listed here. Okay, so your mole inspiration log p value. Okay, so in different databases and different search engines and different softwares, there are background programmings may differ. Okay, and because of that, some plus or minus some values will be differing for data in case of databases and other softwares being used. Okay, so only they are giving there too. So this is MIS, it's mole inspiration log p value. So you see here the log p value is 0.48. It is slightly positive. Okay, so slightly hydrophobic in nature, and this TPSA is the total polar surface area of the compound. So you see this molecule, it has nitrogen in it, isn't it? So there are some, it has carbon, it has nitrogen, it has hydrogen. So there is some electronegativity difference in the compound. So there are certain polarity that is present in the molecule. So what is the polarity of the compound is total polar surface area is given here. Okay, and the number of atoms present excluding hydrogen is represented here 10. Okay, so here you could see there are 6 carbon, 3 nitrogen, and again 1 carbon, isn't it? So totally 10 atoms are present. So you are here, it is excluding hydrogens. So the number of atoms is 10. The molecular weight of the compound is given. Number of hydrogen bond acceptors, okay, you have 3, and number of hydrogen bond donors, you have 3. This N violation is nothing but it is the violation with respect to Lipinski rule of 5. So we have a rule called as Lipinski rule of 5. It is for orally administered drugs. Okay, so that rule actually has certain it has there are certain rules shown for orally administered drugs. So ஒரு ஓரலா நம்ம எடுக்கிற ட்ரக்குக்கு என்னெல்லாம் parameters இருக்கணும், properties இருக்கணும், so that it can easily get solubilized in our aqueous medium and gets passed on to the hydrophobic centers of your organelles. Okay, so that is called as Lipinski rule of 5. So which includes the molecular weight of the compound. So it says that the molecular weight of the compound should not be greater than 500. So molecular weight வந்து 500 க்கு மேல போச்சுன்னா it is too big in nature. So அதனால என்ன பண்ண முடியாது, ஈஸியா solubilize பண்ண முடியாது. Okay, and the hydrogen bond donor should not exceed 5. The hydrogen bond that is the hydrogen bond donor should not be less than 5. Okay, and the hydrogen bond acceptors should not be less than 10, and the log p value should not be greater than 5. Okay, so you have certain rules like this. So under rules padi இங்க வந்து violations இருக்கா இந்த molecule அப்படின்னு they have found. So they have found the molecular weight is 133, so it's less than 500, so it's not harmful. And hydrogen bond donors acceptors, they are also less than 5 and 10, so not a problem. Okay, log p value is also less than 5, so it's not greater than 5. So again, that's not a problem. So எந்த ரூல்ஸுமே violate ஆகல, அதனால தான் இங்க வந்து என்ன பண்ணிருக்காங்க, violations வந்து 0 ன்னு கொடுத்திருக்காங்க. Okay, is that clear, guys? So these are some of the properties calculated using mole inspiration engine. Okay, is that clear, guys? So using this mole inspiration, yes, any doubts you have, guys?
For assignment, we can take any molecules, ma'am.
I will tell you.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You can also predict the biological activity of the same compound. Just go and click here. You could see predict bioactivity. You can go and click that. Okay, so there are certain targets that are given here. So G protein coupled receptors are given, ion channel receptors are given, kinase link receptors are given, and nuclear receptors, protease receptors, and enzyme based inhibitors. So these are all certain drug targets that are given here. Okay, so if there are green, okay, if they are highlighted by green, okay, which shows that that particular which shows that that particular compound has very good interaction with that particular receptor. Okay, இங்க எதுவுமே highlight ஆகல, அதனால இது வந்து it is not going to bind with any of the receptor in a very good manner. பாத்தீங்கன்னா வேல்யூ எல்லாம் பாத்தீங்கன்னா nearly it is 0, isn't it? அதனால இது இந்த எந்த receptor கூட இது bind பண்ண போறது இல்ல. But you have certain molecules where it will be indicated in green in color, which shows that that particular molecule has very good binding with that particular receptor. Sometimes it shows red in color, so that red shows that it does not have very good and the particular site ku idu enadhu, it will not be a very good molecule, bind agakudadu, aachuna it will produce side effects. Okay, so that's how indications will be given in green and red color, okay, if it poses any biological activity. Is that clear, girls? So this particular molecule that I have drawn does not possess any biological activity. You can also get the 3-dimensional geometry of the molecule. So just get 3D. So here you see this is the 3-dimensional, this is the total surface area of the molecule. So you have this 2 nitrogen of the benzimidazole ring, and this is the amino group substituted in the benzimidazole ring. So just I can represent in different ways. Okay, dotted la potana, the polar surface area is now you can see the molecule, isn't it? This is the benzimidazole molecule, here are the 2 nitrogen, and this is the amino group that is substituted. Okay, you can make only tubes. Okay, so the surface area disappears. Okay, you can make it wires. You can also ask it to show the polar surface area. So polar surface area and click pannina, so this is the polar surface area, the one that is highlighted in red. Okay, that is the polar surface area for this particular molecule. Okay, you can also get the mole file format of this compound. Yes, none போட்டிங்கன்னா எதுவுமே highlight ஆகாது, எல்லாமே வந்து ஒரே மாதிரி இருக்க மாதிரி காட்டும். So that's the different informations that you get from mole inspiration. Okay, so is it clear, guys? Mole inspiration.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, okay, so today I will be sending you some few compounds, okay, 5 to 6 compounds. For that you have to get the molecular properties using mole inspiration. You have to generate the biological activity also. Okay, you have to paste it in you have to put it in a doc, you have to write the procedure, you have to put it in a doc, the print screen of the compounds, the work that you do, and you have to submit it. Is that clear? இப்போ நான் உங்களுக்கு ஒரு 1 o'clock நான் போஸ்ட் பண்ணி விட்டுருவேன் காம்பவுண்ட்ஸை. இன்னைக்கே முடிச்சு நீங்க இன்னைக்கே சப்மிட் பண்ணிடணும், சரியா? என்னாச்சு?